Security practices, right? So what you want to know is like, what is the security practice of the MSP in regards to not just securing your environment, but their environment, right? And what are they doing to make sure that they're implementing the latest and greatest when it comes to the rapidly evolving security situation that businesses find themselves in day to day? One of the things that we talk about a lot with our clients is, as an MSP, we can be targeted by bad actors, just like most businesses can. And so it's on us as an MSP to do everything that we possibly can to try to protect our systems and our clients' data from that sort of situation. So when we talk to potential clients, we make sure that we have the conversation around, here are things that we're doing ourselves to protect our data and yours, right? Our systems and yours, right? We're deploying zero trust infrastructure to our clients so that in the event that there is some sort of a breach of our tool set, that doesn't spread, that it gets locked down, that we're able to protect our clients against that sort of issue. Does that mean it's never going to happen or that everything's going to be perfect? No, but it means that we try to put enough stage gates in place that if something were to happen, we could contain it, and that we're on top of it with our clients, and then to provide that level of support to them so that as they're implementing security solutions, that they've got the peace of mind that knowing, yeah, there may one day be a security issue, but we've got enough of these layers in place that hopefully we can contain it and recover from it quickly. So that sort of security needs to be baked into the DNA of how the MSP works and how they provide the services to their clients and how they expect their clients to manage their own infrastructure. Something that we started doing a couple of years ago that you may want to ask in the process of working with an MSP is, do you require us as a business to carry cyber insurance as part of our business policy for insurance? And if the answer is no, then you may want to ask the MSP why, because it's critical that the MSP provide that sort of benchmark for you as a business to say, our solution can only go so far. As a business, if there's some sort of an issue or a breach, you need to be protected financially and technologically. So it's one of those things that really, really encourage companies, because that's where the greatest risk is these days, as things are moving to cloud and, there's less on-site, there's less of that sort of potential that your systems are going to break because your server died, right? More and more of the actuarial work, the risk mitigation comes from some security strategies, both at the MSP level and at the business level. So we strongly encourage that sort of conversation to happen. And as Dan had mentioned before, like, what business are you in and what security overlays do you happen to need? And is the MSP capable of handling that?
Yeah.
Those are important, right? Is there anything I missed there, Dan?
No, I'll share an anecdote of an actual thing that happened. So a friend of mine knows what I do, came to me and she said, "Hey, I'm shopping my MSP." She goes, "I don't think it's something that you want." She was like, I'm leaving in a few weeks. So, but I'm shopping the MSP before I leave. That was her task before she left. And she goes, "Can you help me?" And it was also there was 4 or 5 computers, right? So she said, "Can you write me out some questions I can ask the potential MSPs?" I said, "Sure. Yeah, absolutely." So I wrote her an email, and number one was, do you use a one-to-many remote access tool set? And every MSP will say yes. And then my second question I wrote her was, what have you done to mitigate or try to contain that tool from being used to access and attack my environment? Right. And then I had a few other questions. So she took this she told me this story. She took it to the 2 owners of this little bitty MSP that came and talked to her. And she got to number 1 and they said, "Yes, we use X, Okay, well, what do you do for number 2? And they didn't have an answer. They said they didn't have an answer. And they were so shocked that she would ask that they were completely out of sorts for the rest of the meeting. It's a very important question for anybody using an MSP. And actually, you can any vendor that you work with that connects to your computers to do stuff, that could be consultants, that could be an application partner, that could be an MSP, that could be any number of things. You should ask that question too. And number 2, just as a little add-on at the end of this thing, all of those platforms should have multi-factor, dual factor enabled, period, across the board, end of time. So I know I kind of went off the rails a little bit, but I want to share that story about just those are the type of things and those are the considerations that you really need to have for your MSP. I just want to add that in there. I thought it was a fun story.
No, absolutely. And it helps to illustrate just kind of real world, what that sort of looks like when you're having those conversations and what next steps look like and how you proceed and get your answers.